This year's festival, there have been so many challenges, and one of the biggest things is that we have a commitment to New Orleans musicians. I mean, that's what we're about. In the past, we've been able to tell Kermit Ruffin, here's your parking pass, here's this amount of money, and we'll see you at the gig. Now it's how many of you musicians do we have to fly in, how many hotel rooms. So the budget issues have become radically different for New Orleans musicians. I mean, so many of them are out of town. So, I'm dealing, the problems always end up, in somebody's lap, and usually it's, I'll get a call today and it's like, well, why isn't Henry Butler performing at the festival? And then you get into the issues of what the artist agent wanted and what we were willing to pay, and can we go back now that all the negotiations have fallen down. So it's been tough. I mean, I think one of the biggest things was tracking everybody down, and with again a smaller staff. So we've been able to sort of rectify most of that. I think you have a wide variety selection of New Orleans musicians, but there are many, many musicians here who are not performing at the festival. My goal has been to see how we can change some of that. I mean, in the early days of the festival, there was always the gazebo where it would be the first time for younger performers or street musicians or people who aren't the Neville Brothers or like that could get a break. And hopefully we can do that in the future. This year there'll be some people that are missing that really should be there. And some of it was just through negotiations or miscommunication or whatever. This year, my take on the festival is that you have your New Orleans musicians, some of which have become celebrities. I mean, it was an interesting time when you turn on the television and Alan Toussaint would be there with Elvis Costello, or Fats Domino was somewhere. And I think the national reputation of New Orleans musicians has benefited greatly from Katrina, one of the ironic things of Katrina. But we have the New Orleans musicians, and then you have this higher level of big names. And my interest is sort of the in-between, the more alternative groups, the younger groups that are coming out of Athens, Georgia, and throughout the South and Texas. And you're not really going to see that much of it. I mean, you're going to see the Bruce Springsteens, you're going to see luckily Elvis Costello has been working with Alan Toussaint. I think that's going to be pretty major. And your higher end sort of older musicians, but you're not getting any of your real cutting edge people who are, Nico Case is not going to be at the festival this year. There should be people like that, new musicians who are pushing the boundaries of music. So you're going to get New Orleans musicians, and then I think your higher superstars that are coming in, the Paul Simons, the Bob Dylans, those types. But I do think that, I think last year was a pretty exciting year for New Orleans musicians because of the quality of the overall talent. And this year, of course, it'll have a different impact of, God, it's great to be back. Some of these people have not seen each other. I think it's going to be to me, the Jazz Fest, the really good thing about it this year, and there are many good things, I hate to be negative, but that's my nature, is that this will be the major, reunion of the New Orleans music scene. We've seen it growing slowly, but nobody has really been able to afford to fly everybody back and book them and, risk, whatever.